Call this one misery in Minnesota. Way too much TJ Hockenson, way too little effective offense. The bright spot is the Saints somehow remain first in the NFC South. Let's start our four takeaways with QB 0. The Saints played two, neither played well. When the Saints paid Derek Carr $150 million over 4 years, the hope was they were getting one of the NFL's better quarterbacks. Using quarterback ratings to rank them, we'll call the top 5 in the NFL elite, 6 through 10 very good, 11 through 16 above average. There are 32 teams, so 17 to 20 is below average, and then 21 on down is poor. In 9 previous seasons, Derek Carr has only been above average or better in 3 seasons. He's been below average or worse in 2/3 of his previous seasons. He's 17th in the NFL right now. That's here again. The point is, Derek Carr isn't having a bad season by his standards. This is who he is. Sunday, he engineered 5 drives for a grand total of 3 points. So I understand why some Saints fans might want to change at quarterback, but Jameis Winston threw 2 bad interceptions. Winston has only thrown enough passes in 5 seasons to actually qualify. Those seasons sit here. Oh, and in Drew Brees' 15 seasons as Saints quarterback, he was never below average, elite 9 times. And here's the point to all of this. If you have followed the Saints for the past 20 years, you are used to great quarterback play. But Derek Carr has never delivered that, and he isn't delivering it now. But if you'd rather switch to Jameis Winston, the numbers just don't back that up. And here's the thing. Even if the numbers did, Dennis Allen is not changing quarterbacks. You can argue it all you want, but it's a moot point. If Derek Carr is healthy, he's the Saints quarterback. And the third quarterback, Taysom Hill, somehow got just 1 carry in this game, didn't throw a pass. Why the Saints wouldn't consistently commit to banging the one offensive drum that's worked for them all season, I don't get. At number 3, the Saints continue to have problems with mobile quarterbacks. Josh Dobbs ate the Saints alive in the first half. He threw for a career high in yards Sunday, and his passer rating was way above his career average. It's disturbing that in each of the past 3 weeks, Trevor Lawrence, Tyson Bagent, and Josh Dobbs ran all over the Saints. Now, New Orleans did a better job in the second half of all 3 of those games, but the inability to handle mobile quarterbacks is a perpetual problem with no real answer in sight. At number 2, one of the big reasons I still believe the Saints will make the playoffs, Dennis Allen has not lost this team. There are no stats to illustrate any of this, but even down 24, the Saints showed no signs of quitting. They played hard in the second half. They were emotionally invested, and it didn't help them win on Sunday, but I do believe that will help them down the stretch. At number 1, I think we now know who the 2023 Saints are. They are an average team. So far this season, they played 3 teams that right now would make the playoffs. The Saints are 0-3 against those teams. On the flip side, they have played 3 teams among the bottom 5 in the NFL. They're 3-0 against the league's worst. They're not as good as the playoff teams, but better than the scrubs. They're average. But here's the thing. In the final 7 games, they will play just 1 playoff team and 6 teams with losing records. And the Saints don't even have to beat all the teams with losing records to make the playoffs. If they lose to the Lions and go 4-2 against that group, they would finish 9-8, which will likely be good enough to win the South. It is not Drew Brees era expectations, but that era is now clearly over. Get to the playoffs and see what happens. That's the goal now, and enjoy the bye week. And that's my 4 takeaways from the misery in Minnesota.